There we go. Welcome to everybody to our Business Today series. We're talking with Melva Sine, who is the president of the Utah Restaurant Association. The Restaurant Association, for those of you who don't know, represents all of the restaurants in the state of Utah. Now, we know that the food service and service industries have been heavily impacted by COVID. And so we've asked Melva to join us today to talk about what those impacts are, and also to talk to us about ways that we as other business owners might be able to help our local food service industry during the upcoming holiday season, which is one of the main revenue sources of the year for the food industry. So Melva, with that, how many years have you been with the food service? As long as I can remember.
Yeah, so I started 26 years ago in September. And so I've been with the Utah Restaurant Association for 26 years. So
fabulous. Well, some of you, let me tell them this, Melva, about one of the things is some of your kids may have taken culinary arts at high school level, and Melva was really instrumental in getting the Pro Start in the high schools, which is really what has been a really good program for the schools. But anyways, Melva, let's get back on topic, and I'll give some time over to you, and then at the end, if we have some questions, we can ask questions.
Great. I so appreciate it. Thanks for the invitation and opportunity to be here. I just want people to know that our industry has been heavily impacted by COVID. In the beginning, we thought we were in for like something that would last 2 months, and we're now into it over 6 months. And so this has really been devastating. And even though, and honest to goodness, our citizens in the state of Utah have been fantastic to do curbside, takeout, delivery, and help keep our restaurants and keep their fun neighborhood restaurants going. And so that's been awesome. We need them still to do that, even though you can go and dine in. It's not possible in some restaurants because of 6-foot distancing, and we're working to try and get plexiglass barriers and some other safety measures put into restaurants so that restaurants can more fully use their occupancy, because in another probably 2 to 3 weeks, we're going to lose outside dining for those people who had patios, or some communities have even allowed restaurants to use public streets or sidewalks or whatever might be available to put more customers out where they felt safe and they felt comfortable. And so all of those outside dining, we started a program called BYOB, and it's not bring your own bottle, it's bring your own blanket. And it's just to take so that restaurants who, people want to be outside, and if they do, people are going to have outside heaters and those types of things. But there will come a point when it's too cold to do that. So restaurants are being as innovative and trying to use every available avenue for them to succeed and continue to operate. And that's what they'll continue to do. And so as the holidays approach us, I've been having restaurants call me saying, big parties are canceling. People are deciding that they don't want to take a chance on that and whatnot. But even if you don't, like, we're doing as the Utah Restaurant Association, we're doing a big fundraiser for Big Brothers, Big Sisters. And we're doing it where we're preparing the food, and then we are delivering it out to the homes, and people are inviting guests to come to their homes. And it's taking place in the home. And so you can order restaurant food. You can order food from our caterers. Our caterers are dying. I literally have had 3 calls this week about people taking out bankruptcy because they just have not been able, all their weddings canceled, all their events canceled. I mean, we've got this vice presidential debate in Utah tonight, and there was supposed to be a dinner for 5,000 people. And it was a $100,000 contract for one of our caterers, and it canceled 2 weeks ago because there was no way to properly space and do all of the things we need to do. So our industry continues to struggle and is going to continue to struggle through the holidays. We can survive, but we do need people to use the restaurants. I mean, they will do amazing jobs with your food and with all of your events. And so for the holidays, we would encourage you please to call restaurants and use their food, call in for takeout, curbside, whatever works for you, because most restaurants will deliver themselves now just so that they can keep the cost down of delivery. They may still have a small charge associated with that, but not like some of the delivery services. So call the restaurant directly rather than going through a service. You can also buy, Christmas coming, give people their favorite restaurant gift certificates and buy it directly from the restaurant. So don't go in one of your neighborhood stores and buy the coupon, because then the restaurant is paying out a commission to that store for that coupon. But call the restaurant directly themselves and say, I would like this many gift certificates. It'd be a great way for businesses who have been concerned and in some instances are canceling their big events to say, okay, yeah, we're not going out and doing a banquet, but we're going to buy this many gift certificates and give these certificates out from the businesses that they were going to have those events with. And so there's lots of ways for the community and citizens to help our industry at this time.
Yeah, Melva, can you, I know when I talked to you before, you gave some pretty startling statistics about the impact of COVID on the statewide service industry. Can you give just so that our local people know what the impact is, because they might not realize how much, what a detriment it has been to the restaurants.
Well, so when the pandemic first started, we were hopeful that we wouldn't lose any restaurants. Right now, we've lost 452 statewide. That was as of the 1st of September. So we do a study with all of our vendors and suppliers who have lost accounts or accounts have closed, so that we can have a handle on how many restaurants we're losing. So as of the beginning of September, we'd lost 452. We're just starting that calling in right now for October, so we don't have October statistics. But prior to the pandemic, we had 5,279 restaurants in the state of Utah. So now we've lost 452 of those, so we're nearing that 10% mark. And so that's devastating to those people who have spent their lives creating these businesses and doing everything they could to. Prior to the pandemic, we served 2 million meals a day of food from restaurants throughout the state. We had 111,000 employees. So when we talked about the unemployment rolls going up, that a large majority of those people who are still unemployed are workers who were in our hospitality, restaurant, tourism, hotels, those industries, because we have not been able to come back as quickly as many other industries, and we may not be able to, because until we can make sure that people feel comfortable. So it's all about the people. It's all about what can we do to make people feel comfortable? How can we ensure them that we're sanitizing and we're doing all of these things? And it's one of the reasons we want to put up plexiglass, not just so that we can increase occupancy, but so that people feel safe. Because one of the things that we're seeing is plexiglass being used everywhere. So if that separation helps people feel comfortable, then we want to be able to provide that and take every opportunity about letting the consumer know we're doing everything that we can to protect them. You see our employees wearing masks, even in the kitchens where it's hot and whatnot, doing everything they can to protect them, our employees, because right now we only have probably 30 to 40% occupancy at our restaurants. They cannot survive on 30 to 40% occupancy much longer. We've got to get that occupancy up in our restaurants so that they can more utilize the space that's there, or we're not going to see these employees brought back because we can't.
Right. And it's more than just, oh, I need to go inside to get food. It's you're providing a job for people who have been in this industry when you attend and are able to have dine in. So if a restaurant in our area who has been struggling with the PPE, finding enough PPE, our city put out equipment for all the businesses to come and get a little bit of things. But for restaurants in particular who are looking to expand that indoor dine-in occupancy rate, how is there another way for them to have the access to the plexiglass, etc.? Or how are you going about helping the restaurant industry with those additional precautions?
So we've been asking for permission to use plexiglass from the guidance committee, the Public Health and Emergency Commission in the state. And we have worked with the health department at the state level, Rich Saunders, now for about 2 months. And what they have determined is that restaurants can increase. So the new guidance that has come out states that restaurants need to follow the guidance that currently exists, require guests to wear face masks unless they are actively dining or drinking. So that means you would have your face mask on while you're walking to the restroom, while you're going in, when you're coming out, when you're not actually. They've asked us to keep our music low in the restaurants so that people don't have to exert themselves to speak and be heard. And that a restaurant can now use up all their distance tables. So if you went into a restaurant right now, you would see that one table's open, 1 or 2 tables are closed, another table is open. So currently the guidance says that you can use those distance tables. But if you get more consumers who want to come in and enjoy a dining experience inside a restaurant, you can now seat closer than 6 feet as long as people are willing to wear masks until they're actively eating. So plexiglass for us as an industry, most of it is about what we see, right? We perceive what we see. And so for months, right, people had to wear gloves, even if they were working the cash register, doing everything. Why? Because the public perceives safety when they see people wearing gloves. And so restaurants aren't necessarily saying that plexiglass is going to be the end all, but putting up plexiglass would help consumers feel more safe. That's what we are about. We are about creating that atmosphere that makes you feel safe and comfortable. And so we have not been approved to put up plexiglass in terms of not following guidance. So restaurants who want to put up plexiglass can still do so, and they can contact us and we can provide them. So the Utah Restaurant Association, our email is info@utahrestaurantassociation.org, all spelled out, and we can put restaurant owners or even other business. We're willing to help anybody who needs help to the resources at the state level, whether it's PPE, whatever is available now, Shop in Utah grants. We know that most of that money is spent, but they're going to be re-putting money into these funds. And we know that in Washington, it's kind of a lost cause. And we know that we're not going to get any assistance now until after the election, which we were hopeful for another round of PPP. But I know that the state has commercial rent grants and now have included mortgages. So if you're buying your property or you're leasing your restaurant or renting it, you can get up to 2 months worth of funding from that. So there are all kinds of avenues. We'd love to have people contact us. We'll help anybody who does. We can help with the application process if people don't understand how to do that or just don't have the time to do it. You know what I'm saying? It's just one more thing. It's like the straw that breaks the camel's back. You know, they're already especially in our small independent restaurants, they're doing everything they can to survive. And just one more little thing is just that straw that makes it difficult. So we are there. We'll help in any way.
All right. So we have some good takeaways, a resource if you're a restaurant owner to contact the Restaurant Association at that email that Melva gave. We'll also send that out. Those of you who are not a restaurant owner but would like to support our local industry, either order food for your holiday parties, order the same amount of food that you would have had you had a big, huge bash. Have it delivered to your employees, to their homes. If you can't bring them here, deliver it to their homes. buy gift cards directly from the business owner so that they get the commission off of that. And then just make sure that you don't cut back, and realize that, you know, the more that you can dine in, the better chance that we have the opportunity for those workers to get back in and work, because the restaurants and hospitality industry is still suffering greatly. With that, then, are there any in our audience that have questions for Melva? Just unmute yourself and ask a question if you have it. I don't know. Jesse, do you have a question? Or Elizabeth? Elizabeth does.
Well, I do. I'm trying to formulate it. I'm afraid it's going to come out botched. So I guess I'm not in the restaurant industry. I'm real concerned about small businesses in Utah. And I also recognize the importance of letting communities solve their COVID problems, not the federal government. So I really commend you, Melva, for everything you're doing. One thing I wonder, you know, we've got this sort of highly politicized COVID fear kind of deal going on a national level. And I talk to people all the time, and, you know, you're right, perception is everything. And people are very, very fearful of this virus. And I think a lot of the data has been extraordinarily difficult to follow. So my question is, in attempting to sort of be proactive in helping the restaurant industry and other industries, is there a way to work more proactively in getting accurate data to people, so that it's on a local level, so that it's easier to deal with the actual problem instead of causing people to just shut down out of fear? Does that make sense?
Yeah, so we agree with you, Elizabeth, that we feel much of the information that we're receiving is skewed information. And so we have been working with the governor's office from day one in terms of making sure, number one, that we don't roll back, that we continue to move forward, that we continue and get the message out that take care of our vulnerable. So if you have some sort of health health vulnerability, or you're of an age that you might be concerned about something and whatnot, then those people need to, we have to have some individual responsibility. They know who they are. You take care of yourself. And we're urging our governor to respond with this type of an action where we can open things up, and those people who are most vulnerable, who know who they are, they would be the ones that would be required to perhaps stay home for a while, or not go out as often, or to protect themselves with masks and in other ways, and let the rest of Utah get back to life, and let's get businesses open, and let's take care of people. I mean, that's what we do in our industry. And so we want to do that in the most healthy and safe way. But restaurants always had to do all of the safety precautions that are being in place right now. Restaurants have done for a restaurant to open. It's part of the food code, and it's part of guidance that we've always had to sanitize and clean and do all of those things, and wash hands, and all of those things have always been a part of the restaurant industry. And when we served 2 million meals a day prior to the pandemic, and we did not see any kind of outbreaks or occurrences of foodborne illness or other thing, the restaurant industry has been the most trusted industry in America. Why? Because we do a good job, and we need to focus on the things we do well. We need to talk about what we do well. We need to buoy up those industries, and we need to create consumer confidence. Everything we are doing is about creating consumer confidence.
Yes, I agree with that one. We're almost out of time, but I think we have time for Jesse. Did you have a question as well?
I didn't. I just wanted to thank Melva for coming and talking about what's going on with their restaurants and giving us information on how we can better help them. So thank you.
Well, thank you.
Well, we have enjoyed our time with you, Melva, and thank you so much. I think this will be helpful to not only our restaurants to know that they have an ally in you and that there's a place they can go for more information, and also the rest of us who are kind of thinking, well, we're toning back and we don't need them to go and just buy a plant from wherever and give it as the gift. Give the gift of the restaurants, give the gift cards to your employees this year, and let them get out and about and really
Give the gift of good food.
yes, exactly. I'll take it any day. Anyways, well, thank you so much again, Melva. We appreciate you being with us, and thank you to
Hey.
everyone who was able to join and those that will view it later.
Thank you. Such a pleasure to be with you. Thanks.
All right, everyone, that's it for today. We'll see you
Thank
next time.
you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Have a good day.
All right, thanks.